if I'm right again, going back to what, George the Third.
George the Third, yes.
That's right.
Well, that was the first member of the royal family we looked after. In fact, we were founded in the reign of William of Orange, so we go back to 1698.
When the Dutch almost took over Britain.
Absolutely. When
that never happened, luckily. And also, you are the clerk of the Royal Cellar since 2008, so you do look after Her Majesty.
I look after Her Majesty's wine buying and the wine buying for the royal household in general.
Is there a particular favourite, or is it all private?
The reason why I got the job is because I'm incredibly discreet.
Which is the right answer, Simon.
I could tell you, but I'd have to kill you, I'm afraid.
Well, that would be drastic. Particularly on, live TV.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it'll get some viewers. Let's discuss why you're here. So Singapore is obviously where you are based. You also Hong Kong, but China's or Asia's 15% of your revenue.
Yeah.
But potentially a lot bigger. What's the target?
A lot bigger. I think it could reach. I mean, Asia in general could reach certainly 50% of our revenue within the next few years. 15 to 50. Yeah. That could certainly happen.
Over the next
5 years. There are lots of ifs and buts, frankly. There are lots of reasons why it might not happen. But just looking at the signs right now, it's a very, very exciting market. And it may be, I mean, Hong Kong we've been in now for 15 years. Tokyo on and off for about 12 now. And Singapore only for a couple of years now. But there are so many other markets to explore. I mean, China is an obvious one, but it has its complications inevitably. But I mean, places like Taiwan and Korea and India, we've hardly touched the surface of it.
What are the sort of appetite trends of Asia? Or is it vastly different to...
Well, yeah, I mean, the first thing is...
How did the Chinese like Bordeaux, or did like Bordeaux?
Well, they did like Bordeaux. I mean, the first thing you have to work out is that it's not just one market, it's 1,000 different markets. I mean, even Hong Kong's probably 10 different markets if you include the restaurants and the hotels and the investors. So the minute you come into a market and think that you're going to understand it instantly, you've got it wrong. And one of the things that I think a family business, especially one that's been around for such a long time, can work out is that we can take our time about these things. The recent boom, even in Hong Kong, has seen a lot of new players entering the market. It's seen people who've thought that they could get rich quick, and then the wind changed their direction, the tide moved, and they're now going back home again.
What's the tide now? Is it for...
Well, the
French red, is it white, is it more of a champagne orientation?
I think the one thing you can say about all Asian markets is that they're becoming more and more sophisticated. And lots of people look at the Chinese market and talk about how it was based on gift giving. And I don't think it's entirely true. I mean, certainly as far as we're concerned, we sell wine to people who are passionate about wine. We don't necessarily sell wine to people who just want to give it as a gift, let alone a bribe. And we've found that our market has gone up and up and up because we're selling to the people who want to drink it themselves. But it's just a shift in the marketplace, and it could have been regulation, it could have been economic, but it's always, and it's been the same for the UK market over the last 300 years, it becomes more sophisticated. People want not just to drink the bling, they find out how exciting it is to taste good stuff, and then they want to explore, and that's what's going on.
But only for a drink. However, we've got some four magnificent bottles on the table here, with your name across all four.
All of them,
I actually know very well your premises in London, St James's, which is always beautiful to go by. Reminds me of Charles Dickens, actually.
Yes, yeah.
It's before Charles Dickens. But let's look at, of these, there's a champagne, there's a white, there's a couple of reds, I mean...
It's a whiskey, in fact.
Is it a whiskey?
That is whiskey.
Forgive me.
What people don't know about us particularly is that we're wine and spirit merchants. And we always have been, and that's part of the sort of the London scene. And in fact, for a long time, before we sold it, we owned the Cutty Sark blend, and that was, if you go back to the 1960s, it was 90% of the business and 100% of the profit. And so we still have, although we've sold that brand now, we still have niche spirits. We have a very good gin called Number 3. We do a single malt whiskey called Glenrothes. We've got everything. We've got a Mauritian rum. The whole point is the variety of these things, effectively.
Of the reds, quickly.
Yep.
Of the reds, these two.
Yeah. You've got a Bordeaux and a Burgundy. A Pauillac, which is one of the appellations in Bordeaux where the most famous wines in the world come from, and a red Pouilly de Montrachet, which is something that we're very proud of.